One thing that I sometimes do is actually put my parts or my bag, I leave them in the bag, sorry, but I put them in order. So A, B, C, D, so it's harder, it's not harder, but it's easier to find the parts I'm looking for. So I know that we have to go to E, so I can go to, so it should be the last bag. There it is. Hey guys, welcome to the Herbie build video. We are now at step 9, so let me get you some parts with the E4 and E8 and get the front chassis frame. Then we can marry both of them together. So there again, here we have multiple of the same part. So there's actually 3 parts, but if you notice that this one has is a little shorter than what this one. So the part we need is 4 and 5, which is the longer one, and also the bottom plate. So if you're running with a short wheelbase, it's going to be no plate. A little longer wheelbase is this one, and we're running the long wheelbase, so we'll go with this one. So let's chop them. So this is pretty interesting how the MO6 actually comes together. Because like I mentioned, it is extendable, so if you do a short wheelbase, that's your short wheelbase. And then there's the other space that actually goes, that's how it would go. And then we're going actually a little longer. So there's 3 different spots you can put them. So now I put the bottom spacer in the bottom. Clip that on the last hole, and then this actually goes over there. Hey, and we have Kagan coming into my build of the MO6. I'm actually recording my build on the MO6 before I do the live chat, and you just came in. So there's Kagan. Say hi, Kagan. So let me put the screws onto that and I'll be right back. There we go. Last screw is actually set. And now the chassis is all put together, and that is the long chassis. And underneath you see the plate where extension, and this is how much longer wheelbase it is compared to the short wheelbase. Step 10, we're going to need to get a lot of parts. So I need to get some towers. I'm going to need my ruler to measure, and some other parts. So let me get that and be right back. Oh yes, step 10 means I get to open up bag B, and on bag A there's only 2 little screws left over. No, I did not make a mistake. Sometimes there is some leftovers or some extra screws that they give you, but a lot of times you do not get leftovers. In this case, I got 2 little screws that are left over. So now I'm going to dump my bag B and work off bag. Okay guys, I just opened up bag B and dumped the bag B all in there, and I even got a little tiny bumper and a bunch of stuff that I'm going to need for step number 10. So one thing, when you install these things, little ball connector, they do fit on the cross. On one of the side, they do fit right in there. So you can actually use this to help you put it in there. I've already put one in this one. And then you can actually use the cross to help you screw that. So it makes it very easy to install this in there. And again, check it once in a while, bring it out so you don't strip the hole. As soon as it hits the black, you're done. And it also works for these guys that actually don't have the screw. If you want to hold them, it actually does fit in there. So when you're holding it against the body, you can screw the bottom screw and not have an issue. Some people use also a pair of pliers, but I like using the cross. One thing is when you do, and here they're actually saying you need 8mm in between here. So they can hurt your fingers quite a bit when you're actually doing them. I like starting it off on one side, and then I start off the other side, and then I just keep turning both of them, and they usually go in pretty much at the same time. And if ever one is going farther than the other one or deeper than the other one, you can stop and you can just turn one of them. And again, here, if you want, you can actually use a pair of pliers or 2 pair of pliers and just keep turning. But it's I find it kind of awkward with a pair of pliers. I'm pretty good. My fingers are pretty strong, but this is a good test of your strength. And again, you just keep going until you have 8mm. I'll finish this one up and I'll be right back. Okay, now that I have both of them done, they're built. I have my axle shaft. They call it gear joint. And little O-rings. But now we're going to install the shock tower. Basically, the shock tower fits right on the bumps. And now I got to install 4 of the screws. So let me install the screws and I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. All installed. Nice 4 screws are in there. Now the whole chassis is nice and strong. So the next step, they actually want me to install an O-ring in the center of the cup. So this is the drive cup. And the O-ring actually stops the shaft and is going to keep the shaft tight in there. And it's going to make it a little quieter, and it's just going to keep it tight, in other words, onto the other one. Make sure that it's not too loose. But if you just drop that in, it actually falls out. They actually do mention to actually put a little bit of Tamiya grease in there. So best thing to do is you put a little grease, and then you can slide the O-ring in there, and the grease is actually going to hold your O-ring. I need something. There we go. The O-ring is down there, right in the hole. And now they want you to actually put some grease on the shaft where it's actually going to go on the outer bearing. So let's put a little bit of grease and stick her in there. We're going to have a car soon. So there we go. I installed the arms, and the 2 drive cups are in there. And what's nice by putting all your parts over the page where you're doing or where you're working is that there's no more parts. There's nothing else. So I know I've done this step. So now I can move on to step 11, and that's to actually install the casters. So let me get the casters and I'll be right back. Okay, I got the casters. I went ahead and put a bearing in there and greased the shaft and putting in there. They don't want you to put the bearing on this side yet. I guess they don't want it to fall off or whatever. So I'm not going to bother putting it right now. But I am going to put another one of these little ball end on there. And again, I just started by hand. You can actually just drop it in here also and then turn it, but it basically finds its way. And then you just turn and turn until it gets to the end of it. These parts, I find that's where a lot of people, they actually do strip it. So be very careful and stop as soon as it hit it. Don't wait till it's hard to turn, because I see a lot of people stripping this, and you end up, it ends up coming off when you're driving. So as soon as it hits it, just look at it. As soon as it hits it, stop. So I got those. I got the shaft, and I need the screws, the short screws. 1 screw, 2 screw. There we go. And I need the 2 shafts. And now I can put that in there. We'll start with this one first on this side. What's nice with those screws, again, like I mentioned before, the thread is over at this end, so it makes it easy to actually install and push in there. So almost put the wrong one in there on there. It's pretty easy because it's got to know which one goes on which side. It's got 1 notch on this side and 2 notch on this side, and when you look at the picture, it actually shows you that the 1 notch goes towards the back. So that's the best way to actually determine if it's actually the right way that you're putting it in there. So just insert it and then return. Again, here I am not going to bother putting any grease, because if you do put grease on here, it's just going to jam up with dirt. And then you just pop the cap on there, and then we go. One side is done. Now we can do the other one. Voila, we've done it. But I went a little quick. I forgot to put the dry shaft. Haha, my bad. I should just cut the video and redo it, but no, I won't. Because this is what happens in real builds. You try to go too fast and you screw up. There we go. Dry shaft's in there now. And now I gotta pop it in there. And also pop the other one on the other side. There we go. Okay, the next step is to install, the step number 12 is to install the rest of the shock tower, to finish up the shock tower, and install the piece here at the back with the 2 12mm screws.